So we are a little bit past the 40th anniversary of the launch of the original Apple Macintosh. And that was a really revolutionary device for its day. It brought things like the graphical user interface and the computer mouse to consumers. But what I find more interesting is what the team that brought that to you went on to do next. Because those people like Andy Hertzfeld and Bill Atkinson, Mark Peratt, they started thinking to themselves, what does a post-PC world look like? And that world was mobile. That world was wireless. It was something that you could put inside your pocket, maybe something with a touchscreen. In the development of that product, they started developing brand new things like graphical icons that would later become known as emoji. It needed a serial bus to connect to peripherals, and that technology eventually evolved into USB. They started thinking to themselves, what if this doesn't have a user interface at all? What if it's a touchless interface and I can just ask it to create a calendar invite or ask it to read my email? And all those things came out, and you may be thinking to yourself, I'm probably watching this very video on a device very much like that, and you'd be wrong, because this device came out almost 10 years prior to the release of the iPhone. That device and the company that brought it to you was from General Magic. This is the Magic Link, and it was actually released in the late 90s. And sadly, it was a little ahead of its time, and the technology had not quite caught up to the point where it was practical. The device kind of flopped. When it dissolved, a lot of their engineers went off onto different directions, but luckily, the fire was kept alive inside them. They never forgot what they were trying to achieve at General Magic. And one of those people was Tony Fadell. He landed back at Apple and started working on the iPod. And when that was a success, they eventually created the iPhone, and he brought all of those ideas back. The other person was a guy named Andy Rubin. And Andy Rubin, went off to create Android. Android was literally Andy's nickname. Between Android and the iPhone, they're responsible for about 90% of all of the cell phones that are out there in the world. The lesson learned here is things that are ahead of their time aren't ahead of their time forever. You just have to keep the fire alive.